Now I think we found the way. Folks, Ron was jamming all through it, and I just had to jam along. Ron, you couldn't see me, but I could see you, and you were rocking that song, Ron.
That's right. I was doing my my recording studio. Yeah.
Now I think I found the way. All right, I love that song, by the way. We took care with that song to make sure that part of what we do is talk about the hard times and the sorrow. Because we know that theme parks and going on vacays and all that kind of thing, being with those you love is the antidote to a lot of pain that's out there. And so we never forget that, people are going through stuff. Nobody's free from stuff. Brer Frog says it on Splash Mountain that they destroyed, that, you can't run from trouble, ain't no place that far. So we never forget that, but it's a lovely thing that we can get together and talk about fun stuff and put the blue skies back in their proper place. So we've got Erika to do that. We've got Ron to do that. Welcome to you both.
Hello. Awesome. Thanks for having me again.
The other thing that puts the gray clouds away and brings back the blue skies?
Yes.
The bean brew.
Liquid
the bean
gold.
brew. All right, Erika, what bean brew do you have today?
Same old.
Colombian?
Colombian blend. Yep.
And Ron, what do you got?
The best part of waking up
is Folgers in your cup.
There you go.
All right. And I've got Shake and Ristretto. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Folks, you click the like button, click it, and sip it along with us. What is it they say in the Diary of the Wimpy Kid? Zooey Mama. Is that what they say?
I forgot. It's been so
Zooey
long
Mama. That's good stuff. Man. I got to do a second. Hang on. Now, folks, we are running late today. And we know that. Got a little bit of ice in my mouth. Crunch it real loud for the mic. That's proper stuff. We're running late. Dragon Queen called us out on it. I know. We're a minute late. But, the show, sometimes when you got one like today, we're busting at the seams. Erika, Ron, I don't think we've ever had this much stuff to talk about on That Park Place.
Yeah. Nope. It was a lot over the weekend. A lot.
It's a lot. And in some ways, not a lot.
I was going to say that there is a lot, but it was a lot of marshmallow fluff.
Could be. What did you do, Ray? All right, folks, let's get those super chats up on the screen. And we've got 20 today. And I think you all want to hit the super chat goal if we can, because we'll try to cover everything we didn't cover in the show today. Because there's only so much time. But if you get the super chat goal, we'll attempt to navigate the stuff we could not get to. Ninja Pat, member for 10 months, ruining the parks more. Dang it, Bob. God dang it, Bob, what are you doing? Juliet for 5, evening That Park Place and chat. Good evening to you, Juliet. Good to see you out there. I tell you what, he's back again. Texas 8412 for $5. That'll buy you a couple pork rinds now at the Megalamart, $5. Culture Casino, destroyer of live streams, will return on Avengers Doomsday. Oh. Yeah, Culture managed to shut down the stream Friday and almost shut down the stream on Saturday when we did the live D23 coverage. So, when he's got a mobile device and the red button, he's a danger, that Culture. The first Dragon Queen for 5, the amount of effort I expect them to fix. The Yeti is the amount of this super chat. Hugs for all. The Yeti. This is a fix needed for about 20 years, and they're finally getting to it. I'm curious how they're going to do it. A lot of urban myths are going to change based on how they do this.
So I have been through that building. I have been in the basement of it. I've seen the cracks that the Yeti initially caused, and they're like, we can't change the structure because of this. And so I did backstage tours. One of the final backstage tours that I did before the shutdowns at Expedition Everest. Got to touch the Yeti. Got to, we're not allowed to take pictures because backstage technically, but I have I've touched the Yeti, and it's
I hope that's not a euphemism, Ron.
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually no, but it's it's interesting. I don't know how they're going to do it if they're really going to fix it. And the weird part is, I know people make fun of it and say Disco Yeti, but it's fun, and it's I don't know that it's going to make a huge difference in the ride experience.
You think they're going to disassemble the Yeti?
I have no man.
That's the only way I can see this working is they got to disassemble the Yeti piece by piece, march it out the back door piece by piece, and then install a new lightweight Yeti with a new skin and all that. That's the only way I figured that they can do this.
Yeah, it have to be lightweight. It have to be a different Yeti altogether. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I hope they never get rid of the hair bands on the top.
Hair bands? Do I want?
It's a thing. It became a thing at the beginning. Women started throwing off their hair bands, taking their hair bands out and throwing them off at the top of the ride, and they collect over time. Like every now and again, they'll actually clean them out, and then it starts up again, and it's a big thing. So when you get to the top of Expedition Everest, and you see the track, like you're, oh my gosh, it's broken. I'm going to go off, and then you start to go backwards. Right there, look down, you'll see thousands of hair bands typically. Unless they have cleaned it out. I don't know. It became a thing.
It's so weird.
Little slingshots. We got another super chat before we hit the first story today. WJB Daily for 5 saw Spidey brand new day in IMAX Saturday and enjoyed seeing a building twice with Comcast sign on the rooftop. Well done, Sony. Well done. Uh-oh, did the CGI artist get a little lazy there? Is that what you're saying? Get a little lazy, eh? All right, folks, we're never lazy. We might be a minute late to the show today, but we are not hazy at all in our coverage of D23. I would say we had the biggest party on the planet covering D23. Saturday night, we had over 2,000 people join us live across all the platforms, whether it was Pro or that Park Place or the Twitter accounts or Vash Sky Parkcast. Over 2,000 watching live with us as we explained what was going on. And that means it's time to pick the brains of Erika and Ron and see what they thought about all of this. And the first thing up on the docket, Disney putting the parks back into woke. Yeah, let's go there. The Walt Disney Company and their parks are appearing to go back into the woke era with modern messaging, and they don't seem to be hesitating to say this is what's going down. So we can't just frown at Dana Walden. Now we got to wonder what's going on with Josh tomorrow. That Park Place reporting on this from WDW Pro. Hey, wait a minute, that's me. Disney prepares to bring the modern message for 2 classic attractions, Spaceship Earth and Carousel of Progress. Folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to show you some crazy, crazy stuff. But here is the image of the Carousel of Progress. I don't know if you all have seen this. We'll zoom in on it right here. This is what they're going to change on the Carousel of Progress in one scene, but I suspect there's going to be more than one scene where the mom is in the center and John is on a turntable to be spun around and out of the scene entirely. But that's not even the strangest thing about this, although I will say the mom with the ascot, that's a lot. Hello, mom with an ascot. Her name is Sarah, by the way. Sarah with an ascot. Talking to John, who'll be spun around. He's not telling us about, technology anymore. I'm telling you. I think she's going to be also the star of another scene, and that's whatever, right? Whatever. But look over here. Have you all seen this? Who is this? Uncle Orville has changed. We've got a dude who looks like he is Mr. Sanchez or from India, one or the other. And I'll do the Jerry Seinfeld thing again. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But you can see he's in a mauve bathtub in their household with the Wall Street Journal, but his hands are not holding it, which begs the question, is this AI? And I think it is. So we've got a dude of darker skin with a mustache wearing a pink towel on his head in a bubble bath with a mauve bathroom and the Wall Street Journal doing it through telepathy. He's got telekinesis powers, folks. Telekinesis. That's what I should say. That's the correct thing. What in the world? What in the world? Well, okay. How about let's just keep going on this, okay? Because we've got our new actors who are going to be playing the roles on Carousel of Progress. Here they are. Folks, let me introduce father and mother, Bryan Cranston, and, well, you'll see.
Hi, I'm Bryan Cranston.
Hi, everybody. It's Jamie Lee Curtis.
I am playing the role of father in Carousel of Progress.
I get to voice the mother in the new Carousel of Progress.
When this came across my desk, I thought, oh, I have to do this. It's a legacy for me. The Carousel of Progress came into my life when I was 8 at the New York World's Fair. And the Carousel of Progress, we thought this was amazing, that we're actually seeing this before our eyes.
The Carousel of Progress was my favorite thing at Disneyland. There's a nostalgia to it. There's a sense of wonder about the future. I'm interested in technology. I'm interested in progress. I'm very excited that I get to do this. Very proud.
A real gift for me to be able to know that my voice will be on this ride for millions of people to watch and enjoy.
All right, so Bryan Cranston, I think, is a pretty good cast. Not sure, though, about Jamie Lee. I think she may sound a little bit older than Mother should. Panel, let me go to you on this, and then we've got one heck of a thing to show that is lighting up the WDW Pro channel. It might get us in trouble. I don't know. We'll talk about this in a minute. The Enchanted panel with the giant person on the right side. We'll talk about that in a minute. But before we do, Eric, let me go to you. Your thoughts on Carousel of Progress being changed to the modern message?
Nope, that'll be a one and done for our family.
I'm surprised you're going to give it a 1.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I just YouTube it.
Curiosity killed the cat, right?
Right. But don't let it kill you, Erika.
I don't know. This is one of my favorite. Okay, you know how it hits Ron with Rivers of America? This hits me like that.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
No, listen, there's a tomorrow with this. It's a bunch of garbage is what it is. And Disney clearly not considering Walt's anything of his vision. They're twisting his vision and
but they're going to turn him into a robot. Erika, they're going to make Walt into a robot who endorses it. Even if the real Walt wouldn't endorse this, they're going to have a robot that endorses it before it begins.
I just
How's
don't
that for you?
understand what is wrong with going through time on the technological advances that we've had from all the other eras. What was wrong with what we had already?
Well, you know, a little sprucing up would have done wonders, I think. You know, a little sprucing up.
A little bit, but this is like...
Yeah.
Let's just gut the whole thing. And while we're at it, let's add some feministic, woke messaging into it too.
Ron, who's in the bathtub? Who is that, Ron?
Mexican Iron Man.
Oh my!
I'm looking at. So I guess it's Mike. But can I?
That would solve everything if it's Mexican Iron Man. I will say that. It doesn't matter anymore if the family is one ethnicity and there's a person with a different ethnicity in the bathtub using magical powers to read the Wall Street Journal. If it's Mexican Iron Man, it's like, well, duh. God.
I will say one positive thing. Can you put up the picture of the concept art? Not that one, but the concept art for scene 2 again.
Working on it. Here we go.
All right. So I'm going to say one positive thing. My favorite Disney character of all time is actually in this concept art.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Whoa. Don't tell us. Let me see if we can figure this out.
I think
on the left side, I've got that guy. That's Mexican Iron Man's probably going to be his favorite. We've got Witch Hazel.
Yep, that's it.
Witch Hazel. Okay, so Witch Hazel is your favorite.
I love Witch Hazel. Anyway, from Trick or Treat for Halloween with Donald Duck. 1950, what was that, 5? I don't know. Anyway, 55. It was a long time ago. So yeah, other than that, are they renaming it? Is it going to be called the Carousel of Progressives? Well,
that's why they changed it. They were like, hey, we've already got part of the name in here that we need to use.
It's really interesting that Disney does use the same actors. Bryan Cranston, of course, Disney actor. He's been in some like Disney Channel stuff and kids stuff. I actually saw him when I was working at Yak and Yeti. He came in to eat there. I was not his server, but I did see him in the restaurant. And now Jamie Lee Curtis has been out to Disneyland to promote the Halloween horrible, not that great Haunted Mansion movie that she was in. Anyhow, so who they use because they got to get the people from California. It's not a surprise. None of this to me with what they're doing with the Carousel of Progress. None of it's a surprise. This is all very Burbank, very. The creatives from Bob Iger era that he hired. And I think that Josh Tomorrow's on board with all of this. And I believe that Disney believes that they are capturing a newer and younger audience by doing this. I don't think that's going to end up being the case. I don't think that what they want is what they're going to get. I don't think they're going to get a lot more newer people coming in when you do that with a classic attraction like this. It's just like the Cars thing. I know we'll talk about that later.
They don't
probably,
care, Ron. They destroyed Splash Mountain, their most popular ride, replaced it with Tiana's that's busted all the time.
Yeah.
They don't care.
That's what, like, it's so hard to believe that the people working on this actually don't care. I think they're just not thinking. I really think that they live in such a bubble that they don't get the reality for 99% of the population. Maybe I'm wrong.
They just assume everybody thinks like them and reasons like them, and this is just what everybody wants. And it's like, no, this is what you want, and you're an idiot because all you have to do is go online and read the comments under everything Disney and get a sense of what your audience wants.
Right.
They
so
can't even claim ignorance.
The other thing about this is, like Cranston, I think, can do the voice, sound like John. Jamie Lee Curtis is a completely different casting from, John, what are you doing? I'm in my rumpus room. That's the voice of the Sarah, character. And Jamie Lee Curtis is going to do a completely different thing. So
I can tell you who I think I would have cast. And Disney's, I'd cast Brie Larson.
That would have been fun. I might have cast Amy Adams. I might have cast Amy Adams.
Would be good. Yeah, she'd be good too.
Which, by the way, folks, we will be talking about this in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. We will talk. That's Amy Adams, second to the right. That is definitely not Amy Adams on the far right. But before we talk about the far right, or in this case, the far left, the new chapter, next chapter begins. Imagineering is saying Spaceship Earth is going to be switched from communication to human connection.
Oh, Jesus.
Human connection is going to be the theme of Spaceship Earth. I don't want to diss it before I ride it, but I think this ride will be down for a very, very long time if they get rid of all the past scenes. The access for Spaceship Earth involves using a single utility elevator to make changes to it. So doing any kind of changes to Spaceship Earth of significance is a very arduous process. So, Eric, I went to you first last time. Let me go to Ron first on this one. Ron, your thoughts on Spaceship Earth having its complete theme since 1982 switched from the history of communication and, humans to human connection, which will be like, how do we get along with one another? How do we respect each other?
I think, to me, this feels like kind of what they were planning on doing and then just never did, right, for the original change.
Back in the woke era.
I don't think they're going to change the scenes that much. I think they're going to reframe the scenes with new dialogue from a new narrator. And
that would be better. I mean, it'd still be bad, but it'd be better.
Like, I think they'll have most of those scenes be about, this is the way they connected back then. This is the way they connected, right? Rather than use communication. Now, as they get towards I have a feeling, probably because of what they're doing with Carousel of Progress, they're probably going to take the scene out from the moon landing. And from that point on could be when they really start to switch things up as far as scenes are concerned, because it's from that point on. Boy, I don't want them to take out the computer lab scene though, because that's so iconic.
What do you think they're going to do? The descent, Ron? Like, are we actually going to have a themed descent now, or is that still going to be just scrims covering up everything?
We better have a better descent. They used to have animatronics in the descent, didn't they? Like a long time ago.
At least models, yeah, which are now just covered up. They're still there. They're just covered up.
And so it's really funny because some of the things in that like future thing that you put together, some of them are like almost in the past. Some of them haven't come to pass. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit wacky, a little bit Jetsons, obviously, but I mean, it's fun. People still do it. People still like it. I just hope that this whole connection thing from communication thing, some of it I think is messaging. I think that this will be, my opinion, I could be wrong, I think it'll be a little bit more subtle than the changes to Carousel of Progress, kind of because of budget.
That's what I was going to say. This is, not only is it time-wise, Erika, it's stupid expensive to change Spaceship Earth because of how difficult it is to move stuff out, put stuff in. It's really time-consuming and expensive. So that might be what saves the attraction. What do you think?
Yeah. they don't really have a whole lot of money left with everything else they have going on with Villains Land, Piston Peak, Carousel Progress, all of that. I am curious though, because to change the scenes out, if they really, really wanted to, they could. They would just have to disassemble everything piece by piece and build on site from scratch. But
it makes me worried, Erika. It makes me worried when they say some of the marketing has said, "Thank the Phoenicians one last time." That's made me worried.
There's T-shirts on that. That's like the best part of the ride.
Mm-hmm.
We always listen out for that because it's funny, and we touched on that in homeschooling. So it was kind of fun to go on the ride during homeschooling, and my son look at me and say, "Hey, we talked about that in our history." Anyway, I'm going to go with the safe side. I think, there'll be changes. I agree with Ron. I think they'll change the narrator and the narration and the story. I think a lot of the scenes will stay in place. I hope the historical ones stay. I really love the Sistine Chapel one, the going through the Library of Alexandria. I really like those scenes because they're iconic and they're so historical,
I hope they get Morgan Freeman to narrate it.
That would be cool. Actually, I'd be all right with that.
I was thinking about that. Morgan Freeman would be great. It would be interesting. Jeff Goldblum as a narrator.
Jeff Goldblum, Denzel Washington.
Oh wow, that'd be great, man.
Yeah.
Any of those guys with a good, deep storytelling voice. Yeah, I could see it.
Denzel doing all right. Thank the Phoenicians.
They might go. They might go male and female voices like they did for the People Mover. They got it. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this. D23 ultra woke, and here's why. Enchanted, the sing along, 20th anniversary. Kids are being brought into this to sing the songs and all that kind of stuff. The people on the stage are not short people, but one person is exceedingly tall in the wig and the dress and the sparkles and all that. All right, here's just a brief little snippet. There you go. There's enough of it. Okay. We'll skip ahead and you can see, just Shaquille O'Neal in a wig. Yo, Shaq really love dressing a blonde wig. Get up there and dance with Amy Adams. Shaq gonna do that. Okay. Shaq love doing that. That's how bizarre. Just how's that? How bizarre. It's strange to cover stories like this because Disney's supposed to be about happiness, and this is just kind of a drag.
Oh God, Ron! You figured out how to do it. I think the message was clear at D23. Disney's going back to woke. They want you to know that. They're not going to put it directly into kids' movies because then you don't go see it, and that screws them over. But park stuff and stage stuff, they've not had enough, and they're ready to rock and roll. Josh tomorrow was very clear. They're going to fight for The View and Rosie O'Donnell and proving that that's actual news program, and therefore the FCC can't control them. So I think Disney's going full force into woke. I think that's what we're doing in the hopes that Josh tomorrow might be able to moderate against Dana Walden and Wall Street might be able to put the brakes on what Disney had been up to. Reinvigorated is what I would say. Reinvigorated. You agree, disagree, panel?
Oh, I think they're going back. I don't know that they ever really stopped, but I think that the heads, the powers that be, think there's going to be another shift in the winds, if you will, and they're trying to get ahead of it.
And they're ready to quadruple down.
Yeah.
From
there's going to be
where they
part
were.
2 of woke. There'll be a second chapter.
Oh boy.
We'll ride the rides and see the sights, conquer lines, face our frights. Oh, it's a happy holiday with you. Oh, it's a happy holiday with you. Yes, you. Oh, it's a happy holiday with you.
Today is a sad day, you know. The Disney stock, it has dropped.
Oh no, really?
Yes, it's true. A very sad day.
That's terrible.
Our dear Jefe, Mexican Iron Man, has lost billions and Bob is gone. Bob is on the run.
What will happen, Abuelo?
For Bob's sake, I hope Mike never finds him.
He's a man, he's a man, he's a Mike of a man. Everyone be a fan of Mexican Iron Man.
Go fund yourself, Bob.
First Dragon Queen dropping a super chat says, for 5, Mexican Iron Man in a bathtub. You know, I just made a realization. Maybe they want my option when I'm down there to fix that Yeti. First Dragon Queen, only you can save the Yeti. And stop forest fires, but both of them. God dang it, Texas 8412 for 5. Guy in the bathtub is obviously Pedro.
He's everywhere.
Go, Pedro, go. All right, Barnes and Noobs for $19.99. Love the name. Let the record show we don't want to see Tony Baxter brought in as an advisor on this new journey into imagination. He has said that he would come out of retirement for this. Let the man have his own creations. Yeah, Tony is fantastic, and kudos to Disney for honoring him, which was no given, but honoring him. He's the man behind them having Star Wars. It's not Bob Iger. It's Tony Baxter made Disney capable of having Star Wars. They destroyed it. He would not have recommended they do what they did. But the problem is if Tony comes out of retirement to work on Journey into Imagination 4.0, I'm afraid the same thing will occur with him that happened with Tiana's, where they put him on a non-disclosure agreement, and then he basically had to quit and then couldn't say anything. But behind the scenes, I can tell you, Tony Baxter was saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? And, well, now that's what we're wondering every time we have to ride that thing. Ken Reinhardt for 2. Why is Great Tiger from Punch-Out in the bath? Tiger Punch! Wrong guy. Mr. Darth Tater out there. The spuddiest among us for 5. The company really just goes around destroying everything that we love. One day they may even make Donald wear pants. We've got Cherokee out there for 2. R.I.P. Hayden Panettiere. Yeah, I saw that last night. Posted on about it on X. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but she came out 3 months ago and made some very serious Hollywood is gross accusations. And 3 months later, she's gone. So make of it what you will. I'm not suggesting foul play, but gone way too young from a heart attack. 36, passed away from a heart attack. Kaylee for 5, Spaceship Earth narrated by the AI of James Earl Jones and Eliza Shabazz to reimagine the experience. The message is Q2OEN. I'm trying to think of how James Earl Jones would put some of the Spaceship Earth. Simba, think the Phoenicians. Something like that. It's a bad James Earl Jones. The FTM22 for 5, best thing D23 accomplished, bringing out Pro's Seinfeld voice. It's not a good impression either. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This is the event which keeps on giving, but we need to hear Culture's trip report. Culture will be stopping by Wednesday. He's in transit right now. And I think, frankly, we juggled all this pretty darn well. Me and Vash covering D23, Culture on the floor. I took the trip to Dollywood and was there. We'll cover that in a little bit with their insanely good new dark ride, which is the best new dark ride since Monsters Unleashed, which really is saying something. But Night Flight Expedition at Dollywood is worth the trip to the park to go do, and it's available for kids of all ages. Packing Protons for 2, D23, someone talk WDW down from the roof. Get down off there, you'll be fine. You'll see another day. Hip hip hooray, Disney, you can live. Live, I tell you. All right, well, I tell you what, I'm going to get another sip of the Java, and then, if you two are ready, I'm ready to talk about something nobody knows yet, except right here. How about we talk about Star Wars? Land. Galaxy's Edge? Not this time. Star Wars Land. Dave Filoni is the head of Lucasfilm, and Dave Filoni was at D23. And guess what else? Dave Filoni, the man in the hat, just so happened to talk about Galaxy's Edge, which he calls Star Wars Land. He said a lot of things. That Dave Filoni, the head of Star Wars. And today we're going to play what he had to say at World Builders, which is a Disney Parks panel where Dave Filoni was. And it sounds to me like we can pretty much guarantee Star Wars and Galaxy's Edge definitely moving to a celebrate Luke, Leia, Han, and the rest of them and get away from, well, Rey and Kylo and those.
You know, I'm always excited about the future of Star Wars. It's so, you know, I've told so many stories. George and I made over, I think, 100.
Who is this man on the left who is copying my style? I like him.
Episodes of Clone Wars alone, and he showed how you could do. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot. And he showed how you could tell almost any kind of story in Star Wars, not just what he'd done in the films. He was always experimenting and pushing the limits and say, what about this? What about this? He's never afraid to experiment and to attempt to do things. And a lot of things where you're like, we can't possibly do that. And he's like, right, but let's just see if we can. And that attitude, you recognize, like when you watch Walt Disney, you know, and I wonder how much that influenced George the way he thinks when he saw how an imagination can overcome any obstacles. So, you know, the park is something that, and we talk about it, should evolve, you know, and Star.
Pay attention to that. He just said the park is something that should evolve. Okay.
Star Wars Land should evolve like that as well.
He just said Star Wars Land should evolve.
When you see what people are interested in, we have several different generations of Star Wars fans, right? So we have the original trilogy fans, prequel trilogy fans, sequel trilogy fans, Clone Wars fans, expanded universe fans. They all have different interests.
Wait a minute. Expanded universe fans. The expanded universe is not, that's pre-Disney. And we're talking about Disney parks. We're talking about Galaxy's Edge, which he's calling Star Wars Land. Hang on. I'm actually going to back this up. It's unusual to do this, but I'm going to back it up just so you all can hear that again.
You know, and Star Wars Land should evolve like that as well. When you see what people are interested in, we have several different generations of Star Wars fans, right? So we have the original trilogy fans, prequel trilogy fans, sequel trilogy fans, Clone Wars fans, expanded universe fans. They all have different interests, and I always look at like how we're going to serve all these different interests, and most importantly, how do we bring them all together because they have this common love of Star Wars. And I think the park is a great place to do that. And so, you know, we'll update things. We bring new characters in. We make, you know, rides different. I go on them, and
we make rides different. Mando, yeah, but Ron, I'm starting to wonder: is Rise of the Resistance about to be changed?
I don't know. It was really nice of him to mention the two sequel trilogy fans. So that was throw those two people in there. I had said, you know, my idea, if they, and this was a long time ago, this is all the way back when I thought, man, they could save the Halcyon, the Star Wars.
When
hotel.
you were but a wee Ron, with the optimism, a sparkle in your eyes.
I mean, I think if they would have changed or had it this way from the beginning, obviously they were way off the mark. But if they would have had the Star Wars Hotel be a celebration of the honeymoon of Han and Leia, and then you go on there and you meet C-3PO and R2-D2, Han, Leia, Luke, and the original trilogy characters. You go to Galaxy's Edge, Batuu, and that's where they're going to have their honeymoon, whatever. And Rise was Rise of the First Order, or like you're seeing, or I don't know, the attempt of the Empire to restructure itself or something like that. It had nothing to do with Finn or Poe or whatever. Yeah, it could have been. Galaxy's Edge could have been something. It's a travesty if you were to go in the same day to Diagon Alley over at Universal, and then go to Galaxy's Edge over at Hollywood Studios. You would see so much the difference, especially, let's say that you're a fan of both franchises of Harry Potter and Star Wars. I'm not even a Harry Potter fan. When I go to Diagon Alley, I feel immersed in the world of Harry Potter that has been seen in the movies. When I go to Galaxy's Edge, I feel like I'm, I don't know, in some African or Middle Eastern nation that's not, it has nothing to do with Star Wars. It just, other than when you see the Millennium Falcon there and you're like, what is the Millennium Falcon doing in a place I've never seen it in any of the movies? It has nothing to do with anything that a fan has seen in the movies. And it's,
well, this was Ryan Johnson and Kiri Hart, at the time, the head of Lucasfilm Story Group. This was their idea. This is not in any of the movies. There's nothing to do with this except that this was Ryan Johnson, the director for Last Jedi, his idea for a theme park area. And they dictated to Disney Imagineering what they would do.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
It's not a smart decision. But I will say this. I don't know how you change it from what it is. Okay. I will say this. They could make it better by doing one simple thing. Obviously, you want to bring in characters from the original trilogy, but I would say if you could somehow have like 50 actors a day wandering around there in actual Star Wars costumes, some of them being like aliens. If you went into the cantina and the cantina band was playing, like the original cantina band, not the DJ that used to be the Star Tours guy,
which this is his movement the entire time.
And all right, the cantina band, and then when you're in there, you see at least 7-8 creatures that are not humans. It just, nothing of it right now feels like Star Wars. And what made Star Wars Weekends so great is they would bring in volunteers from the 501st, and there was so many different Star Wars characters. The Grimorian Guards would walk around. You could have pictures of the Grimorian Guards. You could have pictures with Darth Maul. It just so, like, I just remember Star Wars Weekends feeling so much more cool than Star Wars Galaxy's Edge ever has. And that, to me, when you spend literally billions of dollars and you get rid of something great to replace it with something that is junk, that's a disaster.
Let's go back to the video with Dave Filoni and let him finish out. And then, Erika, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this. But it sounds to me like, because these things are not mistakes, they don't plan to put people on stages to say these sorts of things unless it's forecasting something. I really think that they don't have a choice. But they can't promote changing Star Wars at the parks in the way that they would the other stuff, because then they'll get hit with negative articles from people saying, you caved into the toxic fandom. You gave them what they want. Here's more, Dave.
And now that'll happen, which is, selfishly really amazing. So, and I'm sure, it's like you draw something and then you show up at the park and then it's there. And it just is there. It walks up and talks to you. And it's like very surreal. Even though I have that experience,
that has never happened.
When it's here, and again, you're surrounded by people that are just getting to experience that because they aren't on movie sets. It's very special. And so I think we have to be thinking of, I'm nostalgic for Star Wars. How do we maintain its past?
I'm nostalgic for Star Wars. There's no nostalgia currently in modern, as he calls it, Star Wars land. Erika, I think they're ready to drop the nonsense and go back to the Star Wars that drives people to attend the parks. I think Luke, Leia, and Han are on the way to Galaxy's Edge at both coasts, the domestic Disney parks. Your thoughts?
That's really bittersweet. I have a family member who worked really hard on this project, both of them. And at the point that they were assigned this project, they were very excited. Mm-hmm. But at that point, it was early on that...
Was that phase one, Erika, when they were planning the whole thing?
They were going to do the original, and they were so excited because this family member of mine is just really crazy for Star Wars. And now that they're not with the company, and if they're going to go, it really sucks. Good for the company, good for the fans. It's just bittersweet for our family because,
the original designs were so cool for this land, what they were going to do.
And I remember the excitement. I remember being told, hush, don't you tell anybody, we'll kill you. No, just kidding. But I hope so. I hope they change course for the sake of the fans, and I know at least a few other family members, if they go in that direction, will definitely go back at least to Hollywood studios to check it out to see the changes. I can't promise that my family member who worked.
Well, I expect reskins, Erika. I don't think they're going to spend the money to actually like completely redo this, but I think they're going to reskin things, put Luke, Leia, and Han, original timeline, drop Obi-Wan, the Ewan McGregor version somewhere in there on a different space to honor the prequels. But spending more money at this point, I mean, it's kind of a dead franchise. So all they can do is weigh into the nostalgia of what people still love.
And I did expect, because in the concept art and the whole buzz years ago was you were going to see all of these, like, residents of that. I'm not a Star Wars guru, so you have to excuse my ignorance here, but I expected
the droids, the aliens, all the,
You're supposed to be right on top of a bantha.
That you hear about and see in the stories. And we've, even from day one, it's, we never got that interaction, and it would be nice to go to the land, even though kind of like with Ron when he goes to Harry Potter land, but he's not a Harry Potter fan, but he feels immersed. It would be nice for me to feel that way going into Galaxy's Edge, because for me, I'm a Harry Potter fan, but I'm not really a crazy Star Wars fan. So I would like that experience to feel immersed, and maybe that would draw me into like the stories. It would draw me into really doing a deep dive into that world, into that niche,
Ron, you want to tell us about how Universal got it right as we wrap this conversation up, how they managed to get the Harry Potter lands so on point, even with Epic Universe being in an area that's not traditionally often thought of when you're considering Harry Potter with Paris.
Well, first of all, they listen to fans. They take into account feedback. They a huge part of this is tell me your name, the author,
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling, yeah, sorry. J.K. Rowling was given like carte blanche input, and basically she put her foot down with Disney when there was an offering there where Disney said, well, I mean, obviously, Imagineering and Disney's going to have the final say. And she said, nope, I'm not doing that. And a lot of people, I don't think know that Disney actually had the first opportunity to have Harry Potter lands. But Rowling said no. She said, if I'm going to do anything, I have to have the final say. So Rowling herself has the final say. She goes to these lands, she checks them over, she makes sure everything is exactly the way it would be presented from the stories from the movies. The actors have been to these lands and they said, this looks actually more real than our sets. The first time that my wife walked in, she said, wait, is this where they filmed the movie? Because they are like, it's that real. Diagon Alley, and I haven't even gotten to go into Ministry yet. I've been in the land, but I haven't been in the ride. Everything that they have done has been so on point for fulfilling what the fans want, as far as feeling like you've walked into the movie. And that is where they got it right with Harry Potter. They had this really weird idea at Disney. Well, fans would like to create something adjacent to Star Wars, but not actually feel like they've been in the movie. And I don't know where they got that idea from. I don't know how that idea didn't eventually just get shut down. Like, that's what's so weird is like this idea where they talked about, well, we want fans to be able to create their own Star Wars story. Like, they're in the galaxy, they're in the universe, but they're nothing to do with anything that they've ever seen on the screen. And I'm like, how did that idea pass all the way up the chain and get approved all the way up the chain? It's like, everybody thought that was like, what when they were doing that, why didn't they send out surveys to guests and say, hey, guests, what do you think of this idea? Literally send out, like, anybody that's been a fan of Star Wars, people that they know have attended Star Wars events and rallies. They should have sent something out to all those people and said, what would you like to see in a Star Wars land? For some reason, it seems like for the most part, over the last 10 to 15, maybe 20 years, Disney is not taking guest ideas into consideration for what the guests literally are asking for, and or they're looking at it and they're doing the opposite. It's it's just bizarro world to me for the company that, for the first 80 to 90 years of their history, where most of the stuff was really, really good, or if they had off days or off years, they would like backtrack and fix it really quick. I've just never seen, to me, as a fan of what has been Disney in the past, them going downhill as fast as they are, and they seem to continue speed racing towards that direction. It's just bizarre to me, and that's what I saw with this D23. For me, most of it was like they're just not fixing anything.
Yeah, and the thing about it is too, so they can only tell us the way they've done here with Dave Filoni. They can't come out and make an announcement, because if they make an announcement, again, they'll get hit with tons of negative press, and they'll have to address the idea that the sequel trilogy is super unpopular. So the way they do it is they don't come out like they do all the other announcements. They just have Dave Filoni on a panel slip in. Yeah, we got to evolve this thing. There's a nostalgia. Yeah, there's a nostalgia for a time when Star Wars did not suck.
It's showtime! Straight from the heart of the park.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got news from D23 about Villains Land, and I got to say, I was not expecting them to tell us almost anything about it, yet they did. I would suspect, though, changes may be on the way. Tom Bricker writing this for Disney Tourist blog. Disney World reveals Villains Land story, Maleficent roller coaster, and Magic Mirror dark ride details. It's the latter two that I'm surprised about. The story they can tell, but the giving us images of the roller coaster and the dark ride, I'm surprised. We'll see if it actually plays out. It says Walt Disney World has pulled back the curtain on Villains Land at Magic Kingdom, announcing the two headliner attractions, Twisted Wishing Well premise of the area, and name of the expansion. It goes on to talk about the Villains Land reveal was announced during the Horizons Disney Experiences Showcase, which was Saturday night. We covered that live here on That Park Place. Thomas Maslam summoned head Imagineer Bruce Vaughn, along with creative executive director Caroline May. The two kicked off the presentation by joking about all the rumors flying around. Okay. It says the official name of Villains Land is Villains Land. There you go. Fantasyland, Adventureland, Villains Land. Yep. Okay, so it says, even though land will be full of mischief and darkness, Imagineers want it to feel like it belongs in Magic Kingdom. Let's see, what else we got here? It says, Villains Land will tell an entirely new story, while the friends you'll find here maybe feel familiar. They're going to change the villains because there's a broken magic mirror that's warped the villains and all that kind of stuff. I don't know about that concept, but what you need to know is they're going to put in a coaster, and they're trying to present this as a very thrilling, high-speed coaster. We'll see if it's Velocicoaster kind. They revealed some stuff about this. We've got the model of the twisted castle that it's supposed to fly out of. You've got, and it's based around Maleficent. You can see that for the first time I can think of, inside a castle theme park, you're going to have roller coasters, structures visible, like Slinky Dog. That's, full on. Disney usually themes these things so that you don't see them. Not this time. It's going to be totally available for you to see. That's different. And then apparently we're going to be getting a dark ride boat that will operate like Shanghai Pirates, where the boat can twist and turn, do all kinds of things. And of course, here's that concept art we've seen in the past. Don't expect the roller coaster to go underground. Don't expect that. But this is something now. Erika, your thoughts? I mean, it looks impressive, but I think it might be like 2035 before the thing is available. Cars is, nowhere close, and you got to get Cars done before you get to this. Cars is still just dirt. It's just dirt. There's nothing done. So I think this could be a very long time in the future. What are your thoughts on this, Erika?
Oof, I give it maybe about 7 years, and maybe that's being generous.
So you put it at 2033. We're 2 years off. Yeah.
About there. And then in the meantime, you've got Universal that's already breaking ground for their expansions. So I'm sitting here in my head doing the construction math on who's going to get there first, and then the quality of what's going to be built. What are we actually going to see versus what anything in concept art and anything on, frankly, you can build a model, that's fine and great, but are you actually going to really build that on the ground at the park.
Yeah, and will it be visible like from other parts of the park? Like when you get on Big Thunder, are you going to see this nearby? I don't know.
Yeah,
but Erika, I will say this does solve one problem, and so I'm pleased about the one problem they're going to solve. They need a very thrilling coaster in Magic Kingdom. There's teenagers do not have the thing that many teenagers want, which is give us a Velocicoaster, give us a Hulk, give us a lightning rod. We want a thrilling coaster, and we can't get that at Disney, and so this might satisfy that.
I don't think it's going to be a mega coaster. I think it'll be a family coaster.
Oh Lord, I hope not. We got plenty of those.
If we're going off of the visual here,
you're right. I see it too.
The train is very much that's a very typical train you see on a coaster that is more for families. So I'm thinking it won't go as slow as Thunder Mountain or Mine Train. I'm thinking it'll be more on the caliber of Mount Everest. Maybe a little faster, maybe a little bit more thrilling than that one, but I'm going to put it up there with Mount Everest.
Ron, what are your thoughts? And we've known this for a long time, but I'll ask the question again: Is Villains Land even the right thing to put into Magic Kingdom versus like a Hollywood Studios?
I don't really know where else you'd put it. I'm a little bit disappointed. I was really hoping that the announcement would be that the name of the land would be something like Iger's Arena, something like that. Statue of Bob Iger welcoming people to the Villains Land and say, "Hey, I'm the greatest Disney villain that there's ever been." It looks to me like what they're trying to do with the coaster is kind of have it look like those thorns that came up in Maleficent Castle, Sleeping Beauty. No
loops, Ron.
No, to me it's I can never see this without unseeing Rivers of America and the fact that villains destroyed the Rivers of America, literally, like in the most literal sense. Villains are destroying Rivers of America. As far as the cars is concerned, I almost have to disagree with you on that one. We see a lot of dirt there, and that's pretty much all it's going to look like anyway. So maybe they are almost finished. It's just dirt.
Can I? Well, here's something to consider, Ron. I actually like the dirt better than what they're going to put. We'll talk about that soon, but Frontierland and Liberty Square are going to look like Alaska. So I say we stay with the dirt.
It's not. I feel like they have to rename it Frontierland, rename Frontierland something else because it's no longer representative of the American frontier, period. It's just not. And it wouldn't surprise me if Liberty Square also got a retheme and became something else. It's just really weird.
Is this real, by the way? I've seen this everywhere. Are they really trying to split Frontierland into these different areas to explain it?
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
So
Upstate New York?
Surely somebody. They're saying that this is everybody is telling me that this was shown at D23, but I just look at it and say, surely they don't have this level of nonsense in their heads that they would do this. I mean,
that's weird.
It's too complicated. It's just too, like some of these little mini lands have two buildings. Leave it alone. One of them has one ride and that's it. Well, a second one has one ride. 3 of them are just one ride. You could just change New Orleans to this is Tiana's, West Arizona to this is Big Thunder. That will suffice. It makes no sense. Okay, but Villains Land. Let's stick with that for just a minute. I'm surprised they showed anything. Because they had so much, and they didn't have to show us this. In fact, it's so far off. I would have rather they showed us what they're going to do with Spaceship Earth. I would have rather they showed us what they're going to do with Journey into Imagination. Villains Land might be exciting, but it is a very, very long way into the future before anybody gets to ride this stuff. I mean, it is way out there. Yeah. Erika, you say 2033, I say 2035 on Villains Land.
Yeah, and it might lean more into 2035. I don't understand this. They need more in Fantasyland. They have all these other princess IPs, and there's no attractions for these other princesses. And Disney's known for their princess line. That's where your money comes from. I I just don't understand why they wouldn't expand more on Fantasyland. It's just
I don't
what you
understand
want,
why
but you
we
want
don't
to go
have.
with the villains, that were destroying your princesses and their stories. I'm
Erika,
also
look at-
trying to put this together, and as a storyteller, most of your villains are dead. What are they doing coming back? They shouldn't
Erika-
be in the park.
Well, they all fall off a bridge. Well, Erika, but look at this. Look at the size of this building they're going to put there with the roller coaster. I mean, that is massive. That is maybe Everest sized, top to bottom.
Yeah, I know.
So-
It's huge. And we're Matterhorn huge, Everest huge.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge, huge thing. But will it be the right thing? Well, that's up for the audience to decide. Folks, you tell us, are you excited for Villains Land? Do you want Villains Land? And if they put in a thrilling high-speed coaster, do you want loops? Do you want crazy heights? They've got tons of land. I'm not going to pull up Google Earth to show you where they could put this stuff to, hide it, but they can do whatever they want to do. We'll see. I hope it's not Slinky Dog 2.0. I love Slinky Dog, but that's not really what we need. The teens are going to want something with a little bit more bite to it. And Maleficent should be the kind of character to do just that. We'll see what they've got. But it would cost us a lot of water. Splash Mountain, Rivers of America, and Tom Sawyer's Island to get here.
Why, you can't open a Splash Mountain when that mountain ain't got no water.
No water.
No water. No water.
All right, folks, it's time to get back to our superstars of the show, and that's you, of course. So let's go to the Super Chat, Super Cats, Super Chats. Here we are. The first Dragon Queen for 2, Star Wars Land equals Piston Peak. Too many comments. Boy, I hope Star Wars Land, I hope Piston Peak is better than Star Wars Land. I'll tell you that, but it doesn't look that way. We're going to talk about that in a few too. But yeah, all that land and you get 2 attractions. All that land and you get 2 attractions, and it looks like the Cars attraction is going to be a very slow moving, twist you so you feel like you're drifting kind of thing. Like we said, off-road, no. Smith & Sons for 2, picture this, a meet and greet with Force Ghosts. I kind of love that, actually. I kind of love the idea that you could stand in a spot and you wouldn't see them and they would take the photo and then they would appear on the photo. They could do some sort of Polaroid effect that would do that. That would be really cool. And then tell kids, that, because you can see it in the picture, you're force sensitive or something. The things they could have done but did not do. The FTM 22 for 5. Would you give a summary of the original plans for Galaxy's Edge? There are people in chat who don't know the history. Erika, you want to stab at it, or you want me to do it?
I'll let you do it. Yeah.
Original plans for Galaxy's Edge, Disneyland and Walt Disney World would not have been the same. At Disney World, the plan was to put it where the current cast parking is and where the Monsters attraction building is. That would have connected directly with a Star Wars hotel that would have given hotel guests complete and total access to just walk directly into the park in a Star Wars land. All that was changed because when they came in and did this stuff, they cut budgets and they decided that they had to be complete clones of each other. And because the 2 lands had to be clones, that's why they tore down Lights, Actions, Motors. Is that the name of it, Ron? Lights, Motors, Action?
Mm-hmm.
Lights, Motors, Action.
Action.
LMA. They destroyed it to put Star Wars Land there. But the original plans involved a celebration of all of Star Wars. One of the coolest attractions that they worked on was, if you remember the Nintendo 3DS, you remember that if you held it in exactly the right way, the whole screen was 3D. Well, if your head is stuck in the exact right spot, you can actually do no 3D glasses, 3D screens. So the idea had been to have people sit into a pod racer cockpit, which this would go on to become Smuggler's Run later on, which is not great. But the idea was for you to be able to race your pod racers with your family, and with 3D screens directly in front of you, because your head, would be in the seat, and so it would lock onto your eyes, the computer, and it would know where to present that 3D. And that would have been amazing to have your entire family be able to race each other, your entire group race each other in pod racing. But that would eventually become Millennium Falcon and Smuggler's Run. There was also riding Banthas that was a part of it, and Just a lot of really, really cool stuff. Multiple tiers, like there was the ground floor, but then you could go up, and walk at a higher level of the land, and all of that got scrapped.
You say riding banthas, like you kind of, that would have been amazing because the banthas were supposed to, like, you would actually ride them through the land. It wasn't going to be like a separate ride. You would be able to get on them and ride, like around and then come back to a spot, but you would be going through the land. So it would have been so much more immersive and really into Star Wars than what it had become. There
was a restaurant with full entertainment that was taken then and put. In fact, the best parts of the original land were taken and put in the Galactic Star Cruiser. The Star Cruiser failed because then they also decided it had to be based on the sequel trilogy. So the things that you loved from the Star Cruiser, if there was anything, those were all supposed to be in the land. Oga's Cantina was not the original idea. You were supposed to go to the original cantina, like on Tatooine, and it'd be huge, and you could sit where Han shot first, or did he? No, he didn't. Maybe he did. So, you could sit there and you would have seen the blaster burns there, too. I mean, the ideas they had, just so amazing. Echo's Heart out there for 5. Rowling is for Harry Potter, what Walt was for Disney. She cares about the world she created.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for years. Mm-hmm.
And Christian Corralejo for 5. If most of the villains are dead, would it make more sense for Villains Land to be set in some kind of underworld? That would be a way to include Hades.
Oh, that's an idea.
Well, the way they're doing it right now is that the magic mirror, has been fractured, and that's brought all the villains back, and it's a warped, crazy world of magic and mayhem. But yeah, I can like that a world better.
The end of the live action Snow White.
It's kind of like Doomsday. It's Doctor Doom as the mirror with the multiverse, but with villains.
The TV show Once Upon a Time. Did you guys watch that show?
Yeah.
A few episodes.
It was good for a few.
Destroying their own characters. I watched that show just to see it through to the end because I was just curious. What are you going to do next to your characters? This is ridiculous. It was watching Trainwreck. You just couldn't keep your eyes off of this. I feel like they're taking from the TV show and throwing it into this land. Storytelling wise.
There you go. All right, folks. Let's go to something positive, something happy, something good. Something in, I don't know, Dollywood.
There we go. One more for the top. Triple decker, just how you like it.
Wow, thanks, Mr. Walt.
You enjoy it.
We will.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dollywood has stepped up their game, and they're in the game now with the new Night Flight Expedition attraction. We've got our review of it here on That Park Place, and I was there over the weekend at Dollywood as we split our time between D23 and Dollywood. Dollywood had been delayed from opening this $60 million attraction until now. And now it's out there and people are loving this ride. In fact, it may be the best new dark ride since Monsters Unchained at Epic Universe, if that gives you some idea of just how good this is. Here's what we've got. It says, Dollywood's most ambitious attraction ever has finally begun carrying guests into the Smokies after dark. The reactions have been overwhelmingly positive. Night Flight Expedition entered its first major weekend of guest operation at Dollywood on Saturday, August 15th, with season pass holder previews that are going through Tuesday. It officially opens on the 19th. Judging by the first reactions and folks I spoke to who had been on the ride already, Dollywood has probably created something unusual enough to justify much of the wait. And when we say unusual enough, folks, I mean completely and totally novel. This is new.
As the sun sets, the great Smoky Mountains stir. For some, night brings rest. For others, it sparks adventure. The time is coming. A family's quest will unearth a journey only few have seen. A place so mesmerizing, only those brave enough to dive into the darkness will illuminate a world of wonder. From the creators that brought you Wild Eagle, Lightning Rod, and Big Bear Mountain comes the single most ambitious adventure Dollywood has ever imagined. Introducing Night Flight Expedition, the first ride of its kind in the world. 4 thrilling adventures in one attraction. Soar above the Smokies. Plunge into whitewater rapids. Climb majestic mountain peaks. And dare to navigate beyond the familiar, deep into the heart of the night, and discover the light.
Now, they have been very careful. The reason we're not playing POV video is because they're being very careful about not letting POV get out, because it's actually so impressive. They want people to be in the ride and see it. But it's 4 rides in one. It's, I forget how many feet it is. It's like a 1/4 mile of track, which is just unbelievable. But it's 4 rides. You've got the first segment, which is very much like the epic universe Harry Potter ride, Ministry of Magic. You've got the second part of the ride, which is river rapids, but you're on a coaster track, and they swirl the water in different ways to make you feel like you're going different directions and things. I've never seen anybody do it before, and so you might think of that like a river rapids version of Navi River Journey. Then it's a roller coaster, and then it's a gentle water ride to finish off with as you find the secret lake. And the secret lake is what they're working hard to make sure nobody shows on videos just quite yet. All right, so 60 mil spent on this ride, and I think now Dollywood has the dark ride that puts them in the same league as Disney and Universal. Erika, cinnamon bread was enough for you before, but now are you willing to make the trek from the Lone Star State to the Smokies and go enjoy some Dollywood?
I am so excited. I told Raph you got to watch this trailer. I think what's more exciting for us is Mack Ride helped in the design, and I feel like this is an attraction that's really going to go really well for them, which is good. They need more positive well-working attractions in the U.S. to keep garnering their business with U.S. Theme parks and amusement parks. So I'm really excited for that for them, and I can't wait to get on it. 4 rides in one. I'm like, what? But I'm not really surprised either, having been to Europa Park and seeing what Mack Rides has brought to the table. Now I'm over here wondering, are they going to build this thing in their park in Germany?
Did you ride the one in Europa where it's on the track that it's got the water rapid things? Did you ride that one?
No, we didn't ride it, but we were there.
So one fourth of this ride at Dollywood is that ride.
Yeah, I know.
But with bioluminescence and all that kind of stuff happening.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is just really cool. 50,000 gallons of water on this ride.
It's so impressive. I'm kind of surprised they didn't come up with this first, Mack, for their park, because the whole park, the existence is to showcase their rides for their clients. That's the whole reason it exists.
Right.
But sometimes other parks have, I hate to say it, better ideas and say, hey, come over here and work with us and let's collab. We got this big idea and we want you. Yeah,
Dollywood has been working a long time on trying to get a Firefly themed dark ride, and now they've got it. I want to thank Dollywood for letting us hop in on the media day and get special access and all that kind of stuff. They know who they are, and it was very kind of them to do what they did for us. But you can see here, this is the back of the building, Hidden Hollow Aviation, and you can see what the entrance to the ride looks like, and it's just a really cool thing what they've achieved here. Ron, your thoughts on this style of ride? Let me say this to you too, Ron. Ron, if you want to get wet, you should definitely sit in the front right seat. That's the guaranteed you'll get splashed zone. The rest of the spots, you're okay. So Ron, I know you love a dark water ride that really soaks you through and through.
It might not. I don't know if it's bad or worse or the same in Tennessee as it is like in Florida on a 100-degree day, and you can't dry off because of the humidity. But that's nasty. But the ride itself, it looks amazing. I love the fact that you've got a park in the center of the United States that is really competitive as far as a theme park destination with a Disney, with a Universal. And the fact is, I think a lot more people can get to this park because you can drive there. It's a day drive for like more than half the people in the United States, less than a day drive. And Gatlinburg itself, Pigeon Forge, it's a beautiful area. There's a lot more to do than just Dollywood, but you can make Dollywood a really big part of your vacation when you go there. And I think it's about time people understand that they have more options than just going to Disney to have a family vacation, that they might even have far greater memories, making far greater memories than at these other parks that people talked about for years. You look at what Dollywood is doing versus what Disney is doing, and there's no comparison. I mean, this just opened up. It's already here. It's available for people to go on now. You go to Disney World, it's mostly walls, a lot of construction walls. It's and there's some hope for the future, I guess. But I haven't been to Dollywood. I love that park. I love the sister park, Silver Dollar City. I think it's great that these.
Did you say you haven't been to Dollywood?
No, I said I have been to Dollywood because I was.
Oh, you have been. I was going to say, Ron, I was there with you. I've seen you there. You're not getting out of this.
No. I said I've been to Dollywood, and its sister park, Silver Dollar City. I used to work at Silver Dollar City. These are great theme parks, great attraction parks. Dollywood, if you want attractions, I mean,
60 attractions at Dollywood.
Yeah, it's
like Disneyland in Anaheim,
and it's. The entertainment is outstanding. Probably a lot of that is because Opryland closed down, and some of the greatest entertainers that ever came out of Nashville started in Opryland, and that kind of that's shifted over to Dollywood.
It really is a shame that Opryland closed back when it did. It's a real shame.
Yeah,
what a cool park.
It was. I loved that park. The atmosphere, people don't really understand. What I love about Dollywood is I feel like Dollywood celebrates everything that the current crop of the upper Escalon people at Disney want to get rid of, which is Americana, which is a celebration of what our wonderful country has given people. Because no matter where you fall, I think politically, this country has given people liberty to live the lives they want to live. For the most part, we have more liberty here than just about anywhere else in the world, and that is something that is worth celebrating. And it's also worth celebrating all of the reasons that we got here, and unfortunately, I mean, a lot of people sacrifice their lives in military expeditions to get here and get us here, and it's beautiful. Dollywood is just this incredibly beautiful place to celebrate all of that. And you look at a ride like this that gives you the opportunity. I mean, this is like Soarin' with Expedition Everest, with Navi River Cruise. It's all in one ride, and that to me is amazing, and dare I say, magical.
Dare he say? Well, you can say it, Ron. Last thing I'll say about this, we're watching some of these other attractions at Dollywood, but Night Flight is 5.5 minutes long, not including the pre-show. That is a very long ride that features coaster sections. So it's a coaster for 1/4 of the ride, and that ride is still 5.5 minutes long without any of that fake kind of stuff where we're counting sitting in the disembark, the unload area and saying, well, you stop here, so that adds 30 seconds. No, it's 5.5 minutes of absolute attraction. So way to go, Dollywood. Congratulations. You're now up there with Epic and with Disney with this dark ride. Very pleased, folks. Go check it out. And tell them Pro sent you, and make sure you eat the cinnamon bread, even if it is, I think, more like French toast loaf. Yeah. Well, we were going back to the Super Cats, but ladies and gentlemen, there's no Super Cats to be had. Oh, sad are we. What could we do to make us feel better?
It's 2035, and it's time for the grand opening of a long-awaited Villains expansion.
Here we are in the first attraction, a grown-ups only establishment where you can get sloshed with Ursula. And guess what? Here we are again, back at another bar. Have you ever wanted to booze it up with Little Green Men?
Excuse me, are there any rides here, or is this all just bars?
Oh, there's tons more here beyond alcohol.
Well, it's Monday. We're back again.
It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party! It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party!
All right, folks, it is Monday, and we've got one more story left to go. But I do want to say to everybody out there that we have a special pro show thing happening this week. Erika, have you heard about it? Have you heard what Packing Protons has paid for me to have to do?
I think I heard something. Yeah, you have to eat haggis, is it?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, I do. Wednesday night, Erika.
Is it any worse than that stuff in Australia they eat? What's it called? Vegemite?
Oh, Vegemite. Vegemite in a very small dose where you can't taste it is okay. Ron, you ever had a Vegemite? You ever had a Vegemite sandwich?
I have not. That's Australian thing, right?
It's just like super, super, super salty stuff. Ron, I have to eat haggis on the pro show Wednesday night. Packing Protons has paid me to eat haggis.
What's wrong with haggis? I like haggis.
You had haggis?
Yeah.
Do I need to prepare for this? Is it good?
I mean, if you have to haggis, I hope you're having haggis and tatties, which is with mashed potatoes, and it is as long as it's heated, it's fine. So my haggis story went over to a wedding in Scotland.
You have a haggis story.
I have a haggis.
You
story.
say that as if everybody has a haggis story.
I don't have one.
My haggis story, ladies and gentlemen, is go ahead, Ron.
So went to Scotland in 2009, went to a friend of mine's wedding over there. Had really cool wedding in a castle from the 1500s, the Castle Dundas.
Dundas.
It was funny. Yeah, it was when I was talking to Critical Drinker's son about it, he's like, that's like 9 miles from a house.
Right.
Yeah, I was showing him pictures. He's like, yeah, I was hanging out there the other day. So it was very, very cool to relate to Drinker like the way. But the haggis story is, of course, we had the whole presentation of the haggis at the wedding. That's a big thing. And I wanted to take haggis home with me. So I bought haggis at the airport thinking, okay, this will be fine because it's at the airport. Not thinking of the fact that it could go within the UK and Scotland, not back to the United States. So
because it involves organ meat that is not allowed to be brought in the US, like lungs.
Well, it's not really that. That's not really what they make haggis on. But anyway,
okay.
So I bring the haggis back. They confiscate the haggis in New York, the big haggis that I bought, and I was like, oh my gosh, $20-something down the drain. And I get back home and I realize there were mini haggises, like the size of about an egg, and they come in, and I had snuck them in, and I didn't say anything about it. I forgot that I had them. And so I was able to get haggis in the United States that way. And we did actually eat them later, and they were fine as long as it's heated up. It's just basically tastes like a type of a sausage.
So, Ron, I've talked to the few restaurants that make haggis, that will ship haggis, and they are not willing to ship it in the sheep's stomach to me. So I'm going to eat the haggis, but it will be the contents of the sheep's stomach without the actual stomach.
Sheep stomach, yeah.
Because apparently you're not allowed to ship sheep stomach in the United States. Like they can't do it that way, but I'll eat the other stuff. With what do I call the taters?
Haggis and tatties.
Haggis and tatties, of course. All right.
You're sitting down with Drinker to do this.
Drinker probably doesn't even eat the stuff. But we will Wednesday night, folks. So come join us Wednesday night as Pro eats haggis for the crowd. Boy, thank you, Packing Protons. What a guy. What a guy. What a wonderful guy.
I'm going to tell you, it'll be better than the Cake Bake Shop's Millionaire Cake. Oh, God,
not good.
Awful. That was so awful.
I'm so sorry.
I have to try this now. If it's that bad, I'm like, I have to taste this now.
So it was so little cake. The cake was dry, and it was mostly fondant, and the fondant just tasted like it tasted like
styrofoam.
No, it was like if caramel had hardened because it dried out, but then it got soft from water. That's kind of what it tasted like. That's so gross.
Wolf of the Crime Dog is out there for 503. My weekly Super Cat allowance has been replenished on this day that I personally like to call a Monday. You know what? We'll change everything for a minute just so boy, that changed stuff, huh? We'll change everything just so we can play your Super Cat. All right, folks, let's dive in now to the final story. And after this, Ron, you're going to be doing the dish. Tell the folks out there what you've got coming up after the final story.
Well, we're going to talk about Spider-Man's billions and billions and
billions of dollars.
Yes.
Right.
Box office, and how I think that my prediction is going to be right, and how it's going to just embarrass the heck out of Doomsday. I don't think Doomsday is going to do the numbers that.
No. Doomsday is not going to make $2.5 billion. Anyway.
Box office Monday. Yep.
All right, folks, that's on the dish after we finish up here. And we've got Juliet out there saying, like coffee, subscribe to wine, and share. What is that? A glass of milk? Yeah, I'm up for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Erika and Lou.
Oh, you got both of them?
Yeah.
Do you know how hard that is to do?
Yeah.
These are, listen, Ron's getting the superstars. Ron is getting the superstars these days. Final story on the way.
I just can't wait for 3 days of you and me.
The Piston Peak Cars Land model has been shown. Everybody knows now exactly what's going in there. And places like Tom Bricker's Disney Tourist blog say it's going to win everybody over. There's just one problem. It's not. And I'm not won over, but I still like Tom. Here's what it says. A massive model of Piston Peak National Park in the imaginary booth at 2026's D23 Expo reveals the scale and scope of the Cars Land, replacing Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island. Says, plus spoiler alert, the Piston Peak National model is going to win over a lot of diehard Walt Disney World fans who were previously skeptical of the project. Not I, and I'll show you why. Here's the racers. Here's the pictures of the racers on their little mountain thingies, and it's supposed to look like dirt, even though it's not. It's not really off-road. And we got a picture of our little, you know what? Let's just go to the full model. Here you go, folks. Here's the full model. And to understand what we're looking at, this on the right side of the screen is Frontierland. This is Frontierland. And if we go all the way to the end, over here, you would see where the lady is with the camera. That would be Liberty Square with Haunted Mansion over just to where the guy with the lanyard is beside her. Okay, that would be Haunted Mansion over there. Down in the bottom, you've got the splashdown of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And over to the left side, if we were to be on the left side, this will be where Big Thunder is. The problem with this, the problem among many, is that this giant mountain that you see, this white-capped mountain, is going to be plopped down right next to Liberty Square and the entrance of Frontierland. And the problem is, this is going to make Liberty Square and Frontierland look like Alaska. And that just doesn't work. That does not work for me one bit. All right, Ron, I don't think this fits. And the other problem I have is we've got all of this. And gosh, this might cost $1 billion when all is said and done to remove Tom Sawyer and Rivers of America and, level it all down and then put all this in. Like, the amount of work and the amount of money and the amount of downtime for 2 attractions. And Ron, the Cars ride does not look interesting, and the other ride might as well be a dinky little carousel.
I don't know. I mean, look, this is Orlando, Florida. Do you know how few go-kart attractions there are? I mean, there's got to be less than 1,000 go-kart attractions in this tiny little area here in Orlando.
These aren't go-karts. That's how they tried to trick us, Ron. This is a slow-moving, with a little pivot effect, slow-moving ride for little kids to ride around a mountain. This is the Tomorrowland Speedway with a ton of theming.
They have ruined. It's so hard to talk about what they ruined because, first of all, if they wanted to do anything like this, they didn't have to remove Rivers of America. We already know that. And the fact that they removed Rivers of America to put this in, and the amount of downtime that there is, and the fact that, who knows when this is going to open up, and the fact that it's completely does not fit the theming of Frontierland whatsoever. I mean, it's a fictional park out west that is not in the frontier era of the United States. Frontier land was not just about a place, but about an era of time. That's why you have Liberty Square leading into Frontierland. Liberty Square was representing the founding of the United States, leading into the expansion west of the American frontier. That was kind of the whole point. And that was amazing Imagineering in the late 1960s into the 70s when, the park actually opened. And this is lazy, not just lazy Imagineering, but it's IP driven, meaning that you're only going to get so much usage out of it before it becomes old anyway. Like the thing about the American frontier, it never really needed to become old.
Timeless.
It's timeless because it's a piece of history. It's huge. This is so.
If Cars doesn't get like a Cars 4 or something, this is a giant area that is going to be totally dated. And we are moving into a new era technologically. I don't know that kids are going to be interested in Lightning McQueen and Mater as cars. Maybe I could be wrong, but
this attraction, right? They're
off to the side somewhere, but they're not what you ride and that kind of thing. But look, Erika, we've got this giant attraction that is a slow moving Tomorrowland Speedway that wraps all the way around this whole thing, and then we have this little spinny ride because Magic Kingdom doesn't have enough little spinny rides, and that's it. That's what you got for all of this. And for destroying everything. And they had the land to put it anywhere else they wanted because they have tons and tons and tons of land. This was always about getting rid of the rivers of America, not about what they would replace it with.
Yeah, I mean, it was another political decision. Let's just call it what it is. It's exactly what happened with Splash Mountain into now Tiana's Disaster Bayou, and more to come, Carousel of Progress. It's the gift that keeps on giving with Disney.
Are you convinced, Erika? Because Tom Bricker says we're all going to be convinced, and the scope and scale. And I just look at it and say, actually, no. I'm not saying that Tom Sawyer Island was great. It needed to be updated tremendously.
Yeah.
But removing the rivers, and there's barely any water again. That they went back, they showed us that concept art to get people to stop complaining, and now they put the model out there, and you say there's almost no water. So
yeah, it didn't need to be removed. They could have just updated Tom Sawyer's Island. They could have even rethemed it, renamed it into something different, but it's still keeping in theme with Frontierland and the whole story of America's frontier. But that's not what they wanted. They wanted to erase it. And, okay, so I'm going to play the devil's advocate here a little bit. The model, it looks nice visually. It does look nice. The ride system, I don't think it's going to be that slow of a moving ride, but I don't think it's going to be a thrill ride either.
They got to get 3-year-olds on it. So that's why I say... I mean, who watches Cars except like 3-year-olds?
Okay, but I'm hearkening back to the attraction Dinosaur, that ride system. Because
I would be...
I'm wondering if the ride vehicles have that kind of motion to mimic being on different terrains. If they have any sense, God gave a mule.
Mule is the kindest way to put that right now.
That would be an interesting attraction of it by itself. And this is just me giving them credit. This is me playing the devil's advocate, to bring interest into an attraction. I hope that the ride vehicles bring some kind of simulation of terrain to make it, bouncy and a little bit of speed. But it didn't need to replace Rivers of America.
And it was always... It was always a choice that they were making of their own accord. It's never been forced upon them. I'll show this to people real quick. Let me share this screen. If we get on okay. So Eddie Sato, the legendary Imagineer, tried to save the way Frontierland works in Liberty Square for good reason. right before he passed away. And so his suggestion was that the river, the round here, the river that goes around by Haunted Mansion and Big Thunder, which, by the way, now Big Thunder and Haunted Mansion will be just side by side. They're so close, but the illusion was that they were not. It was designed that way. But he had said to keep the loop and then run the river up this way and around to the canal and out, and then fill in everything over here by Haunted Mansion. That would be plenty, because the Cars land is going right here. The Cars land is filling the loop. Cars could have filled the upper loop. And if you did that, you would have still had 34 acres. 34 acres of land for villains and whatever you want to come up with. 34 acres. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want to use that. They wanted to get rid of Tom Sawyer Island. They want to change. I think they'd like to get rid of Liberty Square, even if they're saying they're not going to. Those names that we've seen make me think that they're going to get rid of, eventually. I think and they hate Frontierland because they think, well, no, that's actually indigenous land and we just invaded it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's for political reasons, for their own, their own misinterpretation of history, and that's what they want to push. And
we didn't invade it. It was Mexico. We invaded Mexico.
Mexico paid us. All right, Ron, I'll give you the final word on this. As you look at it, your thoughts on the size of the Cars ride and what we are. I mean, I don't expect this to open until 2039. So the length of time that it's going to take to get this thing in.
Look, the fact of the matter is, I will never be able to see this without remembering what was there and remembering how good it was. And yeah, sure, they needed to update Tom Sawyer's Island, and you could have easily updated Tom Sawyer's Island and taken the Tom Sawyer part out of it and changed it into something else and kept a lot of the theming there. But it's just. I think this is ridiculous. I don't think it fits into theme. It just, and honestly, there's a real question: where else would you put this on Disney property? I don't know that there is necessarily a place for it. Maybe Hollywood Studios, since Hollywood's like the catch-all for anything IP related right now. But yeah, to me, this doesn't make any sense. They're clearly they want lightning lane. Stuff. They want to increase the number of lightning lanes and increase the lightning lane revenue.
Do you not think, Ron, they could have got 3 attractions in for all of this effort in this space?
There's got to be a place for the bars to go.
Oh, good grief. You got to drink your diesel, right?
Yeah, that's.
You better believe Villains Land is going to have bars. You better believe they're getting, yeah.
Yeah, no, I have nothing good to say about this. What am I going to do?
Some kids might like it, but in the end, the destruction they did was totally unnecessary. It's going to mess up Frontierland, Big Thunder, Haunted Mansion, Immersion, goodbye. So I'll be honest, I am more excited about Villains Land than I am Piston Peak.
I'm more excited for Animal Kingdom, the Encanto. I feel like out of everything that's coming up on the horizon, that's the one that makes the most sense.
Yep, and Rhodey's involved in that now, so I'm. They need to get animals over there. They need to have capybaras or something. If they can get some animal exhibits, I think the Animal Kingdom thing could actually turn out pretty darn well. Yeah, pretty darn well. All right, folks, we're going to wrap this thing up. 13 out of 20 on the Super Chat goal. We hit that 90% of the time, but today we have declined to reach it, but it's okay because the next day and the next day we'll get there. We'll get there. Folks, the dream to stream comes true because of you, and we appreciate whenever you can give. If you are ever in a spot where you say, I'd like to give $5 pro, but that would hurt my family, or that'd be money that I need to spend on something else, it's always extra. It's always just for fun, folks. So never, ever, ever go beyond what your wallet should allow. Erika, tell the folks out there what you've got coming up this Friday, please.
Oh, we got Brood Banter, which is mine and my husband's live stream. It's my birthday week. Tomorrow's my birthday, so we'll be celebrating my birthday on Brood Banter on Friday. And yeah, just come and hang out. And we are really trying to work hard to be monetized before February. So we've really been challenged by YouTube to get off our dead lazy rear end.
You got to get it done before February, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know.
Erika, tomorrow is your birthday?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Make a wish. Blow out your candles.
Happy birthday!
And Ron, is it your birthday this week as well?
It is not. My birthday is in November.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
That is
all
true.
the way till November. Not fair. Not fair.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, what do you got going on the dish? One more time for the folks out there who wish to see what you've got on Speederman.
Well, we've got Lou, we've got Erika, we've got $2 billion plus, and we've got the Odyssey trying to tell people that no, woke is fine because it made $1 billion, and it's not really.
They're going to triple down on it now. Triple down on it. All right, Ron. Well, I'm very excited to see what you've got coming up. And ladies and gentlemen, we're very excited to see you very soon. Tonight, the Pro Show is live at 9 p.m. Eastern. Come join us for all the fun, frivolity, and furious coverage of Hollyweird that you just have to see. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, get out there and have a good time. And thank you for being with us for our D23 coverage today.